Dímelo, mi gente, Marcucci here, getting me a video, and today we're bringing Art Malkov. I recently met him at a Solana event. I think it was the Solana Spaces, the first event that they had. Really, really cool. I really enjoyed my time. Art, he's ex-Polymarket, ex-Silica, ex-IO Tech. He is also a digital leader. He focuses on generating and implementing digital strategies within industry-defining impacts. He's currently a Columbia University L2M Blockchain Accelerator Advisor. So thank you so much for being here. Really one of the pioneers of this whole industry. So thank you for being here, Art. How are you?
Thank you for having me and excited. The space is always growing, always expanding. So just good to be a part of it, seeing what's happening. I'm also right now advising Techstars Accelerator Web3, and they have a demo day tomorrow. So I'll be introducing their team. So it's a really exciting space for I think tech and crypto. So just really good to have those conversations, that spread knowledge for all of us.
So how do you get into tech? How do you get into like crypto, blockchain, Solana, all that kind of good stuff?
Accidentally. So it was 2016, end of 2016, and I just flew in from a conference. I was working near Flatiron, so I flew in at the conference, and next day I was supposed to meet up with a buddy of mine, and he's like, "Hey, I'm running 30 minutes late." I go, "Oh man!" And I'm about to finish my work day, and I Google and Meetup. What are events near me? And was an event about by Ethereum. At the time, I thought all cryptos were a scam, so of course, and so I thought, oh man, I don't want to, I don't like, what Bitcoin, it's 2016, like all this Silk Roads, blah blah. But I'm like, let me go because I got time to kill because my buddy is late. So it was literally 3 blocks away from me. It was in Barclays FinTech Accelerator. So they do host all the different events, and it just happened to be like right place, right time. I will go in, and it was I believe COO of Ethereum. When Ethereum was tiny at the time, Ethereum was like $10 a time. So just to give you an example of like how early that was, it's Bitcoin was 1,000, Ethereum was a hundred, oh not hundred, sorry, 10. So that's the levels. And I came in once again. It was not about money; it was about more interest. So and I was very skeptical, but then because I was coming in with Bitcoin mindset. But all the bad things I heard. But then I saw what Ethereum can do possibly. And then I texted my friend like, hey, listen, now you gotta wait 30 minutes. I'm in this really interesting session. And by the end of it, like the guy said, hey, they're gonna be Ethereum Enterprise coming out soon. And so that kind of really got my attention, and I was part of digital agency at the time. So I said, hey, listen, we're gonna start going into more of a blockchain route. So we open a little section and then start focusing on blockchain companies. And there was no blockchain at the time. So it was extremely, extremely tiny field. To give everybody an idea, it was 20 billion market cap total during that time. 20 billion. Year later, we hit 840 billion. So it was a big bang, right? That year was just big bang. And we were on, I started with my team, we started the largest, well, blockchain meetup at the time, which became the biggest blockchain group in New York. So we had hundreds of people events in 2017, 18. So nobody knew what was up. So we were one of the, kind of people who bring people together, connectors to bring speakers and Joe Lubin from Ethereum and others. So like we hosted some, insanely large panels, even though because nobody was hosting it. Anyway, that's just short of it.
No, that's amazing. And I actually went to a blockchain meetup. So that's really interesting. I didn't know you were one of the founders. That's amazing.
Oh, there's two of them. There was Blockchain OSC, and there was then they copied our name a year later. So I don't know which one you went to.
No,
They
that's
literally straight up stole our name.
no, that's
No, no, they call it Blockchain OSC original. So imagine we already had like like 1,000. We had like 1,500 people. They had zero or 2,000 people, and they call it original. How about that?
So talking about originality, let's talk about Lever and what you guys are commonly say is like the Upwork of like Web3 and influencer marketing. So like what kind of inspired you and how does your early involvement in crypto and helping all these like build communities, how do you guys start this?
So Lever originated when I noticed whenever I was head of marketing, we always needed communities. We need to tap into new communities. We need to tap into telling stories and bringing not just new users, but engaging the existing people in our community who don't just want to hear from the same project. If you're, let's say, project X, and you're always like, yeah, rah, 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 we're great. At some point, your community going to go, yeah, okay, thanks. You said it for the last, 2 years. Not interesting. Whereas if you give it from a different format, like somebody who, necessarily like who has a different audience, but they're not associated with your project, it comes off much stronger. So the idea behind Lever was how do we build a platform that removes the friction that like how do you pay influencers? How do you know they're real? So brands don't know. Like, a lot of influencers in crypto are fake, or they're buying views, or they're buying impressions, they're buying shares, and we audit all that. Plus, we handle the escrow, but we're also not an agency. So basically, we allow you to communicate directly with a creator, influencer, KOL, choose a word or directly on a platform. So, and I will show it shortly if people can see how, see how I understand what I'm talking about. But it's all about being data driven. You have to be data driven to launch a proper campaign as a marketer. If you just like in crypto, I see most like, well, not I wasn't gonna say most, but the majority of companies I think don't know necessarily how marketing works in crypto. They may be coming in from Web2, or they don't haven't had experience with influencers. So there's only three ways you can do it. There's conferences, media, and influencers. And conferences are very expensive and more B2B. So if you're B2C, that's not super effective. But you can spend a lot of money, a lot of blow a lot of money like out of the cannon. The media, that's usually more PR. It's helps like for trust, but it doesn't drive that much of eyeballs, and it's hard to do it consistently. So really, the only people who we're talking about here is influencers. The influencers are have large audiences, right? Hundreds of thousands, millions of users that are interested about crypto. Ta-da, right? And Google Ads doesn't work. The SEO is too slow. There's a lot of different elements that normally work from traditional marketing. And it's about trust. Does your community trust you? And so this is the biggest element for Lever is bridging the trust. So creator trusts you and their community trusts you. Yeah.
And how do you balance a sort of like all the bots and like you say like people buy like views and all that kind of stuff, and that happens in traditional too, like that's just not limited to crypto. And even myself, when I'm on Twitter or even on YouTube, a lot of the comments I get are bots, and a lot of people that
Sure.
follow me are bots, and that's not even me trying to buy them or anything. That's just
Hey, hey,
unfortunately
hey,
how it
with
is.
no judgment.
Yeah, yeah, but
You
that's
like paying off the bots. Hey guys, come on, let's go, bots. Get together. It's a
no,
little
but
hot.
how do you leverage like being organic and like going viral and that kind of stuff
Sure.
without sort of tapping into like these people that just don't exist?
So yeah, so let's take your account, right? You have an account. There will always be bots. It's a normal occurrence. There you cannot control it. It's bots maybe do it for their own promotion. They know you have strong audience. They will try to target you. So bots in itself are not a negative. The issue we're seeing is in crypto, a lot of creators who be like, oh, if I have 1,000 views or like 100 views or 10,000 views. If I have 1,000 views, I can charge, I don't know, $200 per post, right? Or $100 per post. If I have 10,000 views, I can charge 500. So that's where the problem comes in. So what we look at the metrics is it actual audiences? Do they have followers? How new the account is? So all those things that like engage with this influencer. So we can look at the right metrics and go, okay, this one is 5%, this one is 30%, one is 95% engagement. We can actually see like the good and the bad. So we have the whole macro view and micro view. So and then guess what? Like if it's most of it organic and there are some bots, that's great. Because bots just trying to, milk the attention for their own project. That's different from when you just have an account and there's nothing but bots. Because they're just buying it to look good and charge companies money. And that is, I would say, right now, epidemic of issues. Like creators are creators are good creators, and that's who ones we try to help and nurture with Lever. And there are creators who just like they don't care, right? There's no accountability. If one crypto project, they don't talk to each other. They just go, everybody have to build their own influencer thing in-house, which is like basically reinventing the wheel. You're trying to find same creators, you messaging same creators. Guess what? If you're messaging same crypto creators, they're gonna raise the price on all of you. So lever is really the neutralizing that part where you don't need to, and also creators hate that. They don't like to get bombarded messages, literally hundreds of messages. We talk to creators, we have seen their screens and email boxes and it's or DMs, and they just delete them outright. They don't even want to know who you are. Like so we really trust, like you come to our platform, creators want to work with you. And they might not want to work with your specific project, so you still get they still has a yes or no say, but they have enough. But they're much more likely to work with you if you approach creator randomly. Usually, like one or two creators will respond out of 100, and also you gotta know what you're doing because sometimes they don't respond at all. Sometimes they respond and then they'll pause, they respond again. 3 months later, nothing happened. And so, like, let's say if you want a campaign launch next week, you go to Lever. That's what Lever is for. Like, we need to launch campaign. We don't have time to audit the creators, and also probably don't know how to. We don't have an expert who knows how to do it. We don't know any of that. How can we do it? Go to Lever. Yeah.
Perfect. So what are some of the requirements, both as a company or a brand and as KOL? Like, what are the different requirements for both?
Yeah. So, look, maybe I'll share my
Yeah, please.
screen,
Yeah,
and
share
it'll
the screen so
be
we could see the platform and everything.
very visual. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I like when people come here and show like their screens and their products and their projects. I really enjoy it. So if you could just show it.
so check this out. Check this baby out. So this is lever.io. It says so you do have to get approved, meaning we audited both creators and brands. So we that's for the creator's sake. Creators don't want to work with some random meme coin or junk project. So a lot of it is really focused on quality. So, but it's very quick. So trending, so we have trending. So yes, in addition to right now, if you go to YouTube or Twitter, you want to know who's doing well, who's trending, whatnot. We actually track who's trending. So example of Crypto Pandas in the last 4 weeks, he trended 81%. So we know who's trending. He's expected view count, EVC, and you see it's all data driven. EVC stands to expect view count goes between 1,000 and 3,000 on average. So you know if you work with this creator, you'll get on average about 2,000 RVPV, which is recent views per video. Notice it doesn't mean just views, because views now versus views 6 months ago or a year ago are completely different crypto. So this platform built specifically for crypto marketing. So if you are head of marketing, director of marketing, a marketing team in your project, and you go, how do we find creators that we know are reliable, that audited, and also recent, which is super important, then leverage that. And you can filter by trending here or not trending. We have at the top three top trending creators, Edge of, they've been growing 80%, PC Crypto 56%. You can also filter by YouTube, Twitter. So let me give you an example. Let's say I only want AMAs. So I want to do AMAs. You click here and you get AMAs. There's also Pro Plan. Pro Plan means creators, they like to work on some sort of different arrangement or agreement, but they're still interested to work with. So that you need to work with a campaign manager. But let's say we don't want to see pro plans, and then we can do this. So AMAs, you can choose which platform. Check it out. It can be Base, Algorand, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Verachain, Near, Polkadot. So really, really long list of like things you can do, and you can do different type of topics. So if you go, hey, I want DeFi, and I need YouTube AMA, right? So YouTube. So now you know all those creators will do YouTube AMA and DeFi. How cool is that?
No, that's amazing. Wow, this is really, really cool. And how many creators do you guys have in the platform right now?
We have hundreds, like I think over 300 right now. So it's quite a lot. And check this out. It's not just you see a little bit. you actually get to see their subscriber count, their engagements in the last 4 weeks and 12 weeks. So we measure both. Expected delivery. We even have different tags. We have ecosystems they cover, taglines they cover, quick bio, and let's see. And yeah, so and in fact, let me show you. So some of the creators we have, like let's say Crypto Sensei. So depending on the size, like so in his case, 99,000 subscribers, but he has 20,000 views per video. So that's a lot, right? So that's it's actually equivalent to about 500,000 to 1 million subscriber YouTuber. So objective of Lever to give you the best deals. Like you don't go to somebody with 500,000 YouTubers subscribers because they'll charge you like 30K, like straight up, like not even a conversation. Not only that, here's what we have. This is YouTube API. It's integrated in YouTube. So you can actually see their real audiences. And by the way, on YouTube, you can super easily fake audiences. That's another thing. That's what separates us from others. We are actually integrated with them directly, which is on Twitter, you can do it. You don't have to get permission. On Twitter, anybody can see and analyze it. So that's why it's easier for us. But for YouTube, which by the way is very underestimated way to communicate, because the difference between YouTube and Twitter, you heard it in term before, crypto Twitter, right? Twitter and crypto. But here's reality. YouTube, I would say, especially if you don't have much YouTube presence, is more effective than Twitter because it's longer educational and it's content that's evergreen. Meaning you can come to it 6 months later or a year later, somebody discovered the content. It's still relevant. Whereas on Twitter, next day, it's not relevant. People forget about it. So it's really flash in the pan versus a slow burn. But in YouTube, it's not slow burn. It's a also really high spike and then there's slow burn. So YouTube, I would say every project should have at least 3 to 5 videos of explainers, AMAs, a mix of it, depending on what they're doing for their project. Um,
What I find really interesting is the age groups here that you guys have too. So 45 to 54 is majority is 30, almost
yeah,
30%. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
I did not
This
expect
is
that.
YouTube, man. It's directly from YouTube. So because with the Crypto Sensei, his big audience is actually XRP, and XRP tends to trend higher. So you see, you would never like most people would never know this. But yet, but here's what: a lot of people who want people with money, you want that age group. You want 45 to 54. You want 54 to 64. You want people who will go, you know what? I'm gonna buy some crypto today. Or I want to engage with the project, right? It's not just about buying. It's about engaging. It's about education. So the beauty of that is audiences, and
So what
exposure.
what would you say for brands is the most important like metric, or what do you value a lever as the most important metric, or one of the most important metrics, right? I think, view counts, like watch hours, like all that kind of stuff is important. But what do you think is the most valuable metric when it comes to crypto branding and Web3 marketing?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So I would say. Yeah, you can use hours and weeks. So most important, it's not one, it's multiples. But to me, uh, if it depends if you're a B2B or B2C. So right away, there's significance. B2C generally, the metric for you is depending on the project. Do you have a wallet, or do you have? Are you already launched? Right? Are you do you need users to do something? So the metric generally will stem from what they want, and then we can do um and then we can how to say uh and then you can decide what is most important. I think generally most important metric is time spent watching. So that's really important for YouTube. Um how much traffic can drive from social media. So not lots of people go like, oh, we want to drive it, we want to get exposure or impressions. I'm like, yes, that's great. But what is the next step? Is it going to be they're going to go to your site? Are they going to go to your Discord? Are they going to get to your Twitter? And even if you go to your site, what is next step for them on your site? So all those steps are extremely valuable, but it dependent on a project. But most of the time, just have an objective. Like, what are you trying to get out of this versus let's just do social media. Let's just do KOLs. which I see that's probably the biggest error I see. Like I was just in Toronto doing a session, and we had like fully booked room, like sold out, standing audience, and like reality was most people just didn't know. The reality was like, yeah, we need KOLs, but why? Like, what do you try to achieve? So, great question, yeah, and I would say try to be specific about what you measure. That would be probably the best way. So, and that will data will be more relevant than like having impressions. Sometimes you'll have less views what's on YouTube, but you'll get people watching for 10, 20, 30 minutes. And those people tend to turn into super fans. Versus on Twitter, they'll just glance at it and that's it. So you might get 1,000 more views or I don't know, 100 more views on Twitter, but real engagement might come from like 1,000 views on YouTube. Let's say you got 100,000 impressions on Twitter and you got 1,000 views on YouTube. That 1,000 views on YouTube might be more valuable.
Wow, I didn't know that, and that's really interesting. We're talking a lot about Twitter. So have you seen Kaito and like InfoFi? Like that's like a
Hmm?
new like trending thing in crypto. Do you think that like could complement Lever's like marketplace, or do you think it's like actually like competition, right? Because we see it more focused, InfoFi at least on Twitter and like more written content. But me personally, I enjoy more visual content or like things that I could like hear, right? That's hence why we're doing this interview. So what is your kind of take on like the whole InfoFi, Kaito? Loud metrics.
Yeah, so there's others. It goes back to is it what is objective behind this? So to me, it's only like InfoFire Kaido, they're more data channels. Whereas Lever is not that. Lever is trust, layer of trust. We connect you with creators you need. Versus Kaido or Web3, there's a few other like projects. They will give you data, but you have to do all the work. You have to still reach out to them. You still have to negotiate with them. You still have to do all that, which is really giving you just data is important, but it's still only 20% of the work. Then you still got to do the hard 80%, building trust, building rapport. So to us, they're not competitors at all. In fact, we often use some other tools to data on creators. For us, it's a part of the stack. Like what Lever does is we're a layer of trust for both brands and creators. Where we go to Lever, you get real audiences, real engagements. They're not gonna throw you around and confuse you because there is accountability. Whereas if you just go to them directly, there's no accountability. If you send them money payment, they might never deliver, or they might deliver, but it will be like half-assed. Whereas with like it's like reviews platform, right? We Baseball Letters in a way gives you a review, so we know if this is a good creator. So when they work with you, they're happy, and you are happy. But if you just go randomly to creator, first of all, they might not respond. They will not be trading. They're also gonna price you higher because we actually get better prices from creators because we save them a lot of time at filtering. So that's the kicker. Is not you're not even paying extra for that.
So if anyone brand is listening, please go to Lever and check them out right now. So I think that's lever.io. So
Lever.io, just pull the
yeah,
lever.
you get the best deals. You get it, really, really like I think what I like is like it's more personal, right? Like it's real people behind it. It's not like, algorithm, data sets, anything like that. It's real people working behind the product. So I really enjoy that and really like that. So what do you see? What's Lever's roadmap? Like let's not say like 5 years. Like let's say between like now and like 2, 3 years. Like where do you guys see Lever and what do you guys want to like keep implementing? Like new metrics, more KOLs, more brands. What do you want to do?
Well, our vision is let's remove the friction. Let's help brands make what they want to do better, marketing, tap into communities, scaling, and we want to be the bridge that bridges that dark forest of like creators who want to potentially smaller creators, especially in mid-size. They're the ones who don't get as much attention. So most brands don't know how to find them. They will go to the biggest creator. Like that's the number one question I get. Who's your biggest influencer? And like exactly. Like we're not here for a biggest influencer. You want to get the biggest influencer? You go to them directly. They'll charge you 2 Bitcoins and you're gonna enjoy your life, all right? And they will not guarantee you anything. You won't get any data, you will get anything. You just gonna pay them and you hope that one exposure will like help you, which by the way it won't. Like I can tell you right now, like just metrically, it's very way less likely that you're gonna get that return on investment. But because everybody knows them, they have the people lining up because there is no transparency in the space. So Lever's objective is to bring transparency, to help brands make better decisions, make easier to hire, understand how to measure better what is effective campaign, and Lever is integral part of that formula. Because without that, I remember being myself at IoTex, at Polymarket, at Zilliqa. It was so hard. It was like literally, we have a campaign in, let's say, 3 weeks. There is no chance we can hire somebody in 3 weeks. It takes weeks to negotiate with influencers, and then they have to produce it, and you do all that, all that, all that. Uh, so like that was really inspired by my own experiences, and our team is really focused to solving that.
Perfect. So pull the lever, guys. I'm telling you guys, this is definitely one of the projects I really, really like. So,
Thank
anyways,
you.
Art, I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. Is there anything else you want to say to the Crypto Conexión community, to like your community? Just final thoughts, and where can we find you? Like, do you have a Twitter, LinkedIn? How is the best way for people to communicate with you
No,
guys and to use Lever?
absolutely. So if you're a brand, go to lever.io and register. It's free. There's no price for using platform. You'll get a quick call with one of our representatives, and they'll guide you through how to do it. So it's really showing you a demo. If you're a community who just curious about crypto, follow us on I'm at Twitter art_Malkov, and on lever_io is our brand on Twitter. Go to lever.io, just check it out, what we do. Uh, and I think my tip for everybody in crypto right now is we are, uh, you know, this space is booming, it's growing. I go to conferences all the time. I was just in Toronto. Before that, I was at Web3 Amsterdam. I was speaker there. I'm going to speak at NFT NYC in 3 weeks. So the reality is the space is very vibrant. It's energetic. Uh, if you're just getting started, Crypto Connexion is great place to learn and continue your education. If you're more serious, Crypto Connexion great for that as well. So as Laura, we're glad to support the growth of the entire space. And yeah, check out us on Twitter. And if you're a brand, join us.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much, Art. Bye
Thank you
bye.
very much. Thank you for having me.